All right, everyone. Unhappy Wednesday to all of you. Coming to you live once again from our humble abode. This is the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family, though you wouldn't know it by the pinstripes I'm wearing right now. We thank you for joining us always tonight from wherever you may be and wherever you're listening from. So pull up a chair, turn up the volume in your car, crack open a cold one if you have the means and are able to, or go ahead and party with us on the company dime as we put an end to day 3 of this week's hostage situation and look forward to tomorrow being Friday Eve. How the hell are all of you? I see we're off and rolling already in the room. Usual suspects, Russ Taylor, Keenan Harmon, Lou Mancini. Thank you, as always, for joining. And we've already got comments. And David Califoot as well. We've already got comments. Of course, Califoot says Yankees suck. Well, Boston Swallows. So there's your retort to that one. So, I could just say I can't hear you from way down there in last place. But, maybe you'll climb out of the cellar someday. And it looks like we've got everybody really, really, really happy about the wildfires in Canada that have, where the smoke screen has invaded the U.S. I sent a picture to Lou earlier showing what Yankee Stadium looked like this afternoon. It looked like they were playing the game. It looked like they were on Mars, or at least, from the photos you see of Mars or what movies depict Mars sky to look like. That's what it looked like over Yankee Stadium. I'd imagine it looks the same over Philadelphia. So, yeah, we've got postponed events all over the place. Out here in Ohio, you can see it. There is a slight haze. The first time I noticed it was Sunday. Saturday was bright and clear here, and it was hot as all hell, and I was out doing a yard sale. So that was fun in 95 degrees. Just sitting out there marinating, being fat and gross. But then Sunday was also roughly 90 degrees, but it just seemed like it wasn't humid, and it wasn't supposed to be humid. But when you looked at the air outside, it looked like it was humid. So that was kind of that smoke screen. And it's been that way ever since down here. So I think we're kind of, I'd imagine we're all fed up with it, right? I mean, look at what's happening up there with you guys in the Northeast, right? You got baseball games getting canceled all over the place. But God forbid, who was it? Was it Russ? Yeah, Russ Taylor. Oh, look, the WNBA postponed their game tonight. They notified the 9 fans that were going to go. You guys got to watch the clip from, who is it? Bill Burr, the comedian. First of all, he's an absolute riot. But he does a thing about, the women's basketball league and everything, and about how, or I think he was talking about soccer at the time. But it's like, there's 20,000 seat arena. 1,500 people show up. That's not a good night, right? The promoter lost his ass on that kid. We gave you a league, right? Gave you a league. Nobody showed up. Anyways. So, and Russ Taylor is up to 349 Hot Wheels for the Russapalooza donations. That is excellent to hear. Excuse me. That's this weekend, right? You're doing the kind of the final event there. So that sounds like you're doing really well, man. Really, really happy to hear that. I keep seeing your posts pretty much daily of the number increasing. So awesome. Awesome for everyone who's donated, Green Legion or not. So I'm sure Russ is appreciative. I know we're all here to support that cause. Just want to make sure I don't forget anything over here. Russ Taylor, cough, cough, wheeze, wheeze. I can't see from Philadelphia. Phillies and Yankees have postponed their games due to air quality. And you could see it last night when I turned on the Yanks game. It looked like there had been a fireworks show that had just gone off. So it was already getting pretty odd. Not that that's an excuse for the Yankees sucking wind last night, much to Califoot's enjoyment. But be that as it may, still sitting there in third place. Red Sox are still in last place. We'll get to some baseball a little later on. Business as usual, guys. If you're tuning in on Facebook or Twitter, please do not forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe to the Green Legion. if those services are where you're comfortable. We totally get it. But as any of our friends here in the room can tell you, the YouTube channel is the best way to view, listen, and comment on any Green Legion radio show. So please do us a solid, even if you're over on Facebook or Twitter. Get on over to YouTube, search the Green Legion, subscribe, hit that little bell for your notifications to let you know anytime we go live. And always, as always, share that channel everywhere. If you cannot watch our shows live, you can always watch or listen later on any of the services previously mentioned, but also on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Obviously, we do this every Wednesday night, and this is strictly a podcast. This does not go out on, any radio station or whatever like that. That's why we have a little more freedom here. I probably should watch my mouth a little bit more than I do, especially considering like my kids listen. My wife's downstairs with them right now. But be that as it may, we do have a little bit more freedom in that it is just a podcast here on Wednesday nights. On Sundays, generally on Sunday mornings, you get Bud Light Baseball Brunch with Greg Murphy and Chris Sack. It will air on 102.5 Fox Sports Gambler and also on the iHeartRadio, the Gambler. And if you haven't caught that yet, and I know everybody who I can see in the room right now, I see you all there in the chat room for that show too. But for anyone else who may listen, if you haven't tuned in to Bud Light Baseball Brunch yet, and you're a fan of the Philadelphia Phillies, you're missing out. Because those two do an absolutely fantastic job. I had the pleasure of, I text with Chris and Lou Dominguez pretty regularly. We like to, just cracking jokes and talking sports and stuff. But, Chris and Greg Murphy really do an excellent job. Ticket giveaways and, just vast knowledge of the Phillies. Not just the current state, but you talk about your minor leagues who might be coming through the pipeline, what trades they might be looking at, just all sorts of stuff. I know your Phils is a little bit better lately, but I also know that Chris is pretty pissed off. So I would not be at all surprised to see and hear a sack attack coming soon. If the Phillies can't right the ship here. Again, we're going to do a little bit of baseball later on. Not going to do too much Phillies. I'll do a little bit. But again, that's we save that for Chris and Greg. They're the experts on the Phillies, and we save that for them. I'll give my insight. But those two gentlemen are definitely the experts when it comes to that. We mentioned Russellpalooza. You still got a few more days, so make sure you get your donations in. Reach out to Russ Taylor if you need details on that. Green Legion Invasions. I think everything is out there now. I know Tampa is pretty much sold out for all hotels. I think last night I saw there was like 8 or 9 rooms at the Hampton left, and then there's some still at Winter the Dolphin. Other than that, it's sold out. So you'd be looking at self-travel and then, ticket and tailgate only. I think we're actually offering pep rally admission as well. But you just go onto the website, greenlegion.com, and make sure you get booked. Don't say we didn't warn you. We tell you all off season, even before the schedule gets released, when the early bird stuff comes out, we all know who we're going to play. We just don't know when. And the Green Legion makes it very, very easy for you to get a deposit in and reserve your spot on a trip you may want to take, right? Even before the schedule comes out, man, I really want to go to Tampa. I really want to go to Los Angeles. Take my wife and I, for example, perfect example, and it's happened a couple of times. We were dead set on Los Angeles. Unfortunately, the package price from the Green Legion wasn't so bad. It was the airfare pretty much doubled the cost of the trip. And with other stuff that we have planned with the kids this summer, it just wasn't doable. So instead, we shifted gears to Tampa. Now, we had put our early bird deposit in for Los Angeles, but schedule gets released. Crap, it's not going to work. Green Legion works with everyone, right? The customer service is amazing. You just get a hold of them. Hey, unfortunately, the dates didn't work, or the cost is a little high, or the airfare is going to cost me too much, and we need to shift over to Tampa Bay. And again, using my wife and I as the example, it's no problem. You still you still have your spot reserved, and you're off and rolling. So, don't say we didn't warn you. It's been available. It's been out there for a while. And I tell everyone, especially any of my folks out here, you Midwest Eagles Nest, all my folks here for that. I tell you all during the offseason, told you all during the season last year, don't think you're just going to wait until it gets closer and then, I'm going to jump on it now. Guys, you will not have the opportunity. Get on it now if you want to go, okay? Get on it now. The Kansas City game, I'm probably not going to be able to go. But if you've got the whole week of Thanksgiving off, that Monday through Friday, we play that Monday night. So, book the trip, go on out, have a good time. See what I'm talking about when I tell you that the only way to do an away game is with the Green Legion. And I would tell you the only way to do a home tailgate is also with the Green Legion. And those are up and available as well for this year. That came out a couple of days ago. So all you guys there in Philly or in the Philly area, or anyone listening who has plans to travel to Philadelphia for a game, or if you don't want to buy tickets to the game, you just want to go to a tailgate experience in Philly, greenlegion.com, book your tailgate, go have a good time. You will not be disappointed ever. Everyone in this room and anyone hearing my voice who has participated in a Green Legion event, they'll back me up. The only thing I would ask, do me a solid. When you go to book, drop my name. Tell them Unhappy Gilmore sent you. All right? If you could do that for me, I'd really, really appreciate it. For the Midwest Eagles Nest out here, it's time to start talking a little bit about that again. I know it's just the beginning of June, but the summer months go by very, very quickly. We all know that. And, preseason and everything is going to be upon us very quickly. So for the Midwest Eagles Nest out here, for any of you knuckleheads that joined us last year, and hopefully you all come back this year, we are trying to plan a preseason kind of pep rally thing of our own at the Back Porch Saloon on Saturday, September 2nd. Yes, it is Labor Day weekend. Yes, I understand it's the unofficial end to summer. I also understand that people go out of town. I am asking you now to just save the date if you can. If you've already got arrangements to be out of town with family or whatnot, obviously, totally get it. But if you don't have plans yet and you want to come hang out with with the best damn Eagles group in this area, you folks that are part of our group, get on there. The only thing I ask, like I put in the post in our group, please respond to the invite. Don't just like the post or love the post. Some of you know who I'm talking to. Go into the actual event, click going or not going. Two things, right? It really, really helps us when we have at least that sort of estimate of how many people we're going to need to accommodate. So if you click not going, obviously you're not going to be there. If you click maybe, we are not reserving a spot for you. If you don't respond at all and then show up, cannot guarantee you're going to be able to hang out with us in the area that we're in. So, again, get in there and just go ahead and give me that. I'm going. I know a bunch of you have already, and I really appreciate it. But just keep that going. And finally, the Unhappy Gilmore Brigade invasion of Philadelphia. We are, let me see the exact number of days here. I believe it's 35 and a half. Let me pull that up here real quick. It is, yes, 35 days, 16 hours, 43 minutes, and however many seconds. That's how long until this crew heads to Philly to come invade your town and eat all of your cheesesteaks. So for that, it is time for it's probably time to start working out. Okay, where are we going to eat lunch on that Friday? Where are we going to eat dinner on that Friday? We're kind of still kicking around the idea of maybe being able to get on the road a little bit earlier on that Thursday, which might put us in line to have dinner on that Thursday night as well. Just going to have to play that by ear. Bank on Friday, lunch and dinner. Saturday's the baseball day. Sunday, my brothers and their families are going to be in South Jersey. They're going to hook up with us. I am going to take the fam over to Xfinity, and we are going to go ahead and watch Bud Light Baseball Brunch live to show, to be there to support Chris and Greg. So that'll be a good time. I may or may not be able to get on there and join the panel for a few. We'll just kind of see how that goes as we get closer. I'd love the opportunity. It'd be fantastic to talk a little baseball with those guys. But either way, we will be there. And then, I'll have both of my brothers and their wives and their kids. So if all of their kids come, plus my family, we are talking about 15 people wandering around looking for food and stuff to do. So that's, I would expect either lunch or dinner that day to be, quite the event. And as we get closer and work out the details to that, I will definitely get that out to you guys so that you, if you want to come join us, come join us. You're all family as far as I'm concerned. And my brothers are really good dudes. Their wives are excellent people. The kids are all great. And it's going to be a good time. Be great to see them. Haven't seen them in a couple of years now. They have not seen my kids since 2000, I think, since my older brother got married. So you're talking 9 years, I think it's been, since we were back there, since the whole family went back home for a trip. So for them to take the time to come down to see us down there in Philly, South Jersey, gonna be a good time. But by all means, when I put out there where we're gonna be, even on that Sunday, don't hesitate. Come on out, have a good time, join us. Right? Grab a beer, grab a cheesesteak, grab some crab fries, whatever the hell we're doing, and shoot the shit for a little bit. My older brother is a Packers fan. My younger brother, I think he started rooting for the Saints a little bit. He was rooting for the Vikings for a while, and he got fed up with Kirk Cousins. So he's kind of in no man's land with his team right now. I don't really blame him, but so good guys though. You guys will love them. Should be an excellent time. Anyway, so that's what I've got for kind of your business portions of it. Let's hop over to the room here, see what I've missed for now. Russ Taylor, blame Canada. Absolutely. Right? Lou Mancini, Bill Burr is so wrong, he's right. I think he's absolutely hysterical. He just lays it out there, man. Just no fear, no shame, oftentimes no filter. And he's from the Northeast. Now he's a Massachusetts guy, which I'm like, you're a Sox fan, but Califoot's a Sox fan. We don't hold that against him. So what else do we got over here? Russ Taylor, I think we need to arrest Terrence and Phillip. I think they started this wildfire. Keenan Harmon, Sack and Murph make baseball suck less. Keenan again, Tampa, baby, taking Pam to the beach, and I get to watch some speedboat racing. Win. Very good. Yeah, looking forward to the Tampa trip. So the wife and I, we're going to fly down that Thursday before the game, and we are going to stay with friends of ours who live like on the beach south of Tampa. Not far south, but we're going to stay with them Thursday night, all day and night, Friday into Saturday morning. And then we'll head up to meet up with all the Green Legion on Saturday. I'm going to throw it out there to Quimby that I'm going to be there, ahead of time if he needs anything. Obviously, I can help in any way, shape, or form. I always offer to do that. I've been doing that for years. Again, Green Legion, always the best time. So anything that we can do to assist, more than happy to do so. Russ Taylor, cheesesteaks. Yeah, you should hear my kids. So when we came up, what was it, January of 2022, it was just me and the boys. And we came up for the last game of the year. You guys remember that game got flexed to the night game, and it meant nothing. right? So the flex was kind of like, what the hell, dude? And the game meant pretty much nothing. And it was like the coldest day in the history of the universe. But we did the tailgate. My sons and I, we got some food. Got to shoot the shit with a bunch of people. The boys met Irving Fryer, which was nice. He was getting ready to leave and graciously gave us a minute or two of his time to say hi and take a picture. Very thankful for that. But the air travel seemed to have messed with my middle, with Liam. And his appetite never really rebounded, which was such a bummer considering we were in Philadelphia, right? So like he ate like half a cheesesteak and then he'd be like not feeling good. My oldest, however, was just bashing everything, right? Whatever Liam couldn't finish, he ate on top of what he had already ordered. They both loved the crab fries, right? I mean, it was on. We were getting down with the cheesesteaks. And I would expect that to continue this year when we come up in 5 weeks and start bashing some more of your food. Russ Taylor, make sure to take your son to that Mitchell and Ness store and find some retro jerseys. All right. We'll make that a priority. Lou Mancini, there's a playground park by Angelo's that you can eat those sandwiches. We'll keep that in mind too. Captain Demps in the room. Good day, sir. How are you? Thank you for joining in with us again. I very much appreciate it. And then Keenan Harmon, ask Sam and Steph about Panzerotti while in South Jersey. Finally had one last weekend. So good, so unhealthy. Yeah, so I am not coming up there to eat Brussels sprouts. Okay? No good story starts with a salad. Unless, somebody's salad's getting tossed. But just being honest, I'm not coming up there to have a watercress sandwich and a glass of water, right? I'm coming up there to bash awesome food because, look, to be honest with you guys, I live out here in Southwest Ohio, and I can't get that kind of food here. People try. There is a place, East Coast Eats. They make cheesesteaks the right way there. But other than that, there is like nothing in this area that even comes remotely close. People rave about Penn Station. I mean, for fast food, it ain't bad, but the bread sucks. It's not the Amoroso. It's just like, I can't, dude. I can't stand the comparisons. Oh, these are really good. That's because you grew up out here and you really haven't had a good one, a real one, right? Like, that's the problem. You guys grow up out here. You have your freaking Skyline chili, which is basically diaper shit. And then you offend every Italian on the planet and put that shit on spaghetti with 86 pounds of shredded cheddar cheese. And you call it a three-way. Look, my idea of a three-way doesn't have anything to do with whatever the hell that chili sauce crap you guys make. A bunch of lukewarm spaghetti, overcooked at that, and 86 pounds of shredded cheddar cheese. I'm sorry. It's just not how I get down. So, yeah. I mean, it's just, you're in Ohio, right? It's the Midwest. It's not the best food in the country is on the Northeast coast, right? I've always said anywhere from Boston to Baltimore. You can extend that up to Maine when you start talking seafood, especially lobster and things like that. But, your New England clam chowder, your steakhouses, your seafood, the Italian food is unmatched by any other part of the country. Outside of that area. That's New York, Philly, Boston, Baltimore. I don't care where you are. The corner joints are light years better than pretty much everything you can get here. So, Cap, 3 ways in a tossed salad. I know, right? Get me going out here. Lou Mancini, Philly fat is where it's at. Yeah, don't worry. What I like to tell people is I am uniquely shaped to enjoy a whole mess of food. So that's what we're going to go for there. And the boys are excited. My daughter is excited. My wife is excited. We're all really excited to come to town. Hope to get to see as many of you as possible. Understand work schedules and other schedules and stuff may come in, may prevent some of that. But keep in mind, it's not like it's the last time we'll come in. And hey, look, 2024, the Eagles come here to Cincinnati. So I'm looking at you, Captain Demps. You know, I know you're on every trip, and I fully expect you to be here as well. So, and I'll bring the whole fam down for that too. All right, moving on. The boner of the week. Let's not act like we had any shortage of options on this here, right? From the gambling idiot with the Indianapolis Colts to, you know, I mean, it just there's always a laundry list of guys that can be named for this. However, and when I teased the show, and I know I was short time frame with teasing the show today, and things were real hectic at work, and I just didn't get time to get around to it. I didn't even take a lunch break today, which for a fat kid like me is a big problem. I get cranky at the end of the day. But I am going with PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan. Now, during the tease for the show yesterday and today, I called out LIV Golf and PGA Tour merging together. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. Just going to kind of touch on it a little bit, and we're going to work into it with the boner of the week. Real quick, back over to the room before I get going. Captain Dance, I'll be there. Got to be better than the whipping we got. See, no doubt, dude. That was brutal. I was down there for that too. Freaking mess. So the last two times the Eagles have been here, we got whooped in 16. Cap just mentioned. And then the time before that in 08 was the game that we tied, right? It was a freezing cold game. And that was the game we tied. And that's the one where McNabb afterwards said, I didn't know we could tie. And you're just like, dude, stop talking. Right? Like, just go eat some chunky soup and shut up. Right? It's just, it was terrible. Anyways, boner of the week, PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan. Have you guys read anything about this stuff, about all the merger and all of this stuff going on? Now, it broke yesterday morning and was apparently a huge surprise to everyone. I didn't catch wind of it until I went to lunch, which was probably about 1:30-ish. And I sit in my car and I just listened to sports talk, and they were all over it already. I'm like, what the hell? Look, I think before we get into it, I think this is always the way it was going to go. There was going to be a merge. It was just a matter of who was going to win kind of the battle here. And it appears that LIV Golf kind of won the battle here. But PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan, early stages of LIV Golf, they started up in 2021. I believe it was somewhere around there or early 2022. This is the guy who cried for golfers to stay loyal to the PGA over LIV Golf and went so far as to use 9/11 as a way to get the public on his side while making the golfers who left look like traitors to not just PGA Tour, but to the United States, right? Because LIV Golf has funded Saudi Arabia and all the money. You guys get where I'm going with this, right? So this clown comes out and he says uses that huge tragic event, disgusting event, to try to gain sympathy from people here in the States, try to make to guilt the golfers who are really just after the biggest bag of money they can get. And none of you should ever fault them for doing that. Right? Ever. Any player should, and I know Cap agrees with me, any player in any sport, and really not just even athletes, okay? Any walk of life. You guys, me, anyone. If somebody offered you 10 times the amount of money to do the exact same job you're already doing, what would you do? You're going to take the money. It's not even a question. So when these dudes came in and they started throwing their Saudi money at some of these golfers, I don't know why anyone was surprised. I don't know why anyone was outraged. I was on the side of the PGA because it's traditional, right? I never faulted the golfers for going after the big bag of money. They should, right? Especially those guys, especially your professional athletes. Their careers are shorter. You guys, me, whoever, you could go and you could start out as a forklift driver at 18 years old, and you can work your way up. Excuse me. And I only use warehouse environment because that's my wheelhouse. You can work your way up to a manager, general manager, regional manager, whatever, director of this or that, and be in that job for 40, 50, some odd years. Professional athletes have a fraction of that time. Now, golfers have more. I get it. They don't have the contact and all that stuff. And there's the senior tour and everything too. I understand. But it's still not the same amount of time. These guys should go get every single penny they can. And I never faulted them for it. Ever. Right? You can't do that. That's not fair. Right? So this idiot wants to try to guilt these golfers because they were leaving for the money and tries to use 9/11 because he could try to get the sympathy from America, from Americans, to berate these golfers, to call them traitors, all of that stuff. Disgusting. So again, like I said, disgusting in its own right. But this is going to get even better. Now that the PGA has had to go to the table, and make no mistake about it, the PGA had to go to the table and ask LIV to come meet with them, right? LIV was winning this. They just, more money, right? So he's got to get them to the table to get a deal done to save the PGA Tour. He's, of course, sounded the retreat, waving the white flag on the traitor claims, and states that this merger should now be embraced by all to support unified pro golf. And I think Captain Demps hit it right on the head here. Taking Saudi money is good for PGA, but not for players, right? Remember, it was disrespectful when the players were doing it. Bam, right on the head. It's exactly what I'm saying. What a crock of shit. So on the heels of that, the 9/11 Families United Coalition, who Monahan had previously engaged when he wanted to berate LIV, guess what he didn't do when he went to go make this merger? Oh, he just conveniently did not talk to that same coalition. So what's the response? And I quote, PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan co-opted the 9/11 community last year in the PGA's unequivocal agreement that the Saudi LIV project was nothing more than sports washing of Saudi Arabia's reputation. But now the PGA and Monahan appear to have become just more paid Saudi shills, taking billions of dollars to cleanse the Saudi reputation so that Americans and the world will forget how the kingdom spent their billions of dollars before 9/11 to fund terrorism, spread their vitriolic hatred of Americans, and finance Al-Qaeda and the murder of our loved ones. Make no mistake, we will never forget. This is why you can't be impulsive. And the fact that he got away with saying what he said, 2 years ago or whatever, is disgusting enough. But then you have the freaking audacity to now go make a deal with the people who you were calling traitors, right? And you don't even speak to this coalition that you went and got them on your side 2 years ago. When your whole rhetoric was about, Saudi this, and let's bash them for, 9/11, and, let me get the sympathy vote by calling that stuff out. Oh, you were all about the 9/11 Families Coalition then, weren't you? And now that you have to go make a deal because you were losing your ass because LIV Golf was just going to take over, well, now everyone should accept it. And you don't even have the freaking guts to go face that same coalition. You, sir, are a spineless sack of shit. And I don't know if he's smart, which based on this would tell you he's not. But if he's smart, in that merger is a buyout clause for him. Because otherwise he is going to get tossed on his ass just like Greg Norman is throughout this whole thing. I find this to be disgusting. Easily the boner of the week. I was going to go with the idiot Colts player that bet on his own team. We're going to get to him in a minute. But when this story broke and I heard all the details, this guy takes the cake. And I know John Morant has been boner of the week twice, but this guy, with these actions, I think it trumps it, guys. I think we've got a new front runner for boner of the year in Jay Monahan. Anybody going to be shocked if he's out of a job before the 4th of July? I'm not. So Monahan has since stated that he regrets not speaking to the families prior to the merger being announced. Again, you think? After you used that tragic event, which cost the lives of their loved ones, to gain sympathy when LIV was poaching your golfers, now you merge with LIV and say nothing. Again, 1,000% weak sauce. Weak sauce. Look, guys, girls, anyone listening, if anyone thinks this merger is about anything more than money and putting an end to the ugly litigation that was going on, if you think it's about anything more than those things, let me know, because I think downstairs I've got some magic beans I can tell you to. You're fooling yourself. Again, like I said before, I preferred everything remain with the PGA Tour, but never faulted the golfers who left for leaving to make more money. We're all in this for money. Who out there actually enjoys going to work? You might enjoy your job, but it's still something you have to do, right? Would you not rather just go sit somewhere, toes in the water, ass in the sand? Not a worry in the world, a cold beer in your hand, right? Nobody really, it's fine to admit it. You don't really want to. So while you have to, you go get as much freaking money as you can. Now, the way some of the golfers handled it was a little shitty. Mickelson, right? I was a big lefty fan. Not mad at him for leaving to go get more money, but the mouth, the rhetoric, all the bullshit, it was enough. So you have a lot of, I don't know how this is going to play out, guys. They're going to have to, they're all back here. So the PGA lost, right? So I wanted to try to gather more details about the money portion of it. But again, I just didn't have a ton of time to get to all of that, to get it together. So I don't know what the buyouts are going to be. You think about a bunch of these guys left and went to LIV, which opened up opportunity for golfers that were trying to get on the PGA Tour. Well, now these guys are coming back. So those lower golfers, they're going to be out again, which I think is really shitty. I forget the guy's name. There's one guy out there. I really wish Quimby would have popped on, because I think he's probably got more details on this. I probably should have asked him, but oh well. Suffice it to say, this is not over yet. All right. There's still a lot of money BS that has to change hands. There's got to be buyouts. There's got to be, compensation for certain guys coming back over, and whatever the case may be. The thing you got to keep in mind, first and foremost, is that LIV Golf won this battle from everything that you hear and read right now. Now, things could change, and maybe there's other details, but LIV Golf, they just had deeper pockets, right? That's all there is to it. The golfers who left took a big chance, and it paid off, right? The PGA Tour had to get LIV Golf to the table and merge, or risk being swallowed up by deeper pockets. It's that simple, right? And now, it's really unfortunate what Monahan did, pulling in the whole 9/11 rhetoric. I find that to be disgusting, because truthfully, the back half of his statement, what he said now isn't wrong. What he said 2 years ago was, right? So you don't bring in the whole 9/11 thing when you're talking about a freaking, a golf league, okay? This isn't like soldiers, defecting from America to go become terrorists. It's not the same thing. And that's what makes those statements disgusting. What he said now isn't wrong, except for the fact that behind the scenes, you have what he said 2 years ago. It does unify golf, right? It should make it more competitive. There's talk that you may have 54-hole tournaments instead of 72-hole tournaments. There's talk of team golf, and whatever that may include. Nike, I guess, was looking to sponsor. I forget who it is. Somebody's team. I don't know if it's Bryson DeChambeau or whatever. But there's a lot more to consider and a lot more money that has to change hands. But anyways, that's your boner of the week. And I told you we would kind of work that into the golf stuff. I find it interesting. I'm going to keep paying attention to it. I'll try to have more information for you next week, although we won't make it as big of a topic next week. Back over to the room before we move on here. Keenan Harmon, do I get the same amount of paid time off? See, and I really like that you said that, Keenan, because when you reach a certain point, right, getting paid is great. Being compensated, obviously, be it straight up salary, bonus, 401k, insurance benefits and whatnot. But that PTO becomes almost equally, the time, because you can't get it back, right? You cannot get it back. I was talking, you guys remember my friend Sam Cohen up from Connecticut. He's been on here a couple of times. We're going to try to get him back on again here at sometime in the next few weeks, if he can. He's been working a lot of late nights. And him and I were talking a week ago about, where you see yourself, when the dust settles and the noise of the kids are gone and all that. And it's like, if you leave the earth with 0.00 in your bank account, I would tell you lived a full life, man. You can't take it with you when you go. The time becomes so much more important. Especially as your kids get bigger. I mean, I got 16, 13, and 10 now. You can't get that time back. So, and I forget where the hell I was going with this. But anyways, Lou Mancini, Mickelson was a douche shot long before he defected and bounced for that kind of money. He was. I'm not saying he was the easiest guy to root for. And I get it, but he really, really showed his whole ass when he went over to LIV Golf. I mean, now these guys are all going to have to play together every week again. So, I don't know. We're going to get some kind of NASCAR fights out there. I doubt it. Maybe slap boxing. Who knows? Lou Mancini again. PGA looks to have been stuck in one of those Jersey circles. Right. The jug handles. They're from Jersey. Yeah, what exit? Keenan, Lou are magic beans like magic mushrooms. Jeez. And Keenan, bring the Savannah Bananas approach to golf, then I'll watch. Yeah, you know what? I don't blame you, man. I was kind of hoping this thing would, for at least a while. Like I said to start it off, I kind of expected there to be a merger at some point between LIV and the PGA Tour. But I was kind of hoping for them to stay separate for a while so that when those majors came up, like we talked about before the Masters, there would be that kind of clash, right? Because some of these guys appeared, at least on the surface, to genuinely hate each other now. And the only time they'd really face off would be the majors, because the majors govern themselves as far as who can play. It's not up to the PGA Tour. But be that as it may, looks like they're all going to be back in the same pot again. David Connon in the room. What's up, my brother? There's absolutely zero things interesting about golf. Well, this was an interesting story because of the way it broke and because of the way Monahan has handled the whole thing. It was definitely something worth talking about. Anyways, we are moving past golf now. The gambling in the NFL continues to be an issue. I mean, I don't know how anyone couldn't see this coming, right? When you opened it up to everyone, you open it up for problems, right? We've already seen it with Calvin Ridley. We've seen it with a few players from the Detroit Lions. And now we have this joker, Colts defensive back, kick returner, Isaiah Rodgers Sr., who was a 6th-round pick in 2020. He's placing bets on or against the Colts, whatever. Games that he directly impacts. Look, folks, this is an issue, and it's one that has to be addressed. I think we've gone over some of this stuff before. The rules for the NFL players, coaches, refs, whatever, as far as them being able to gamble, the rules are very simple. right? You cannot, under any circumstances, place bets on NFL games, period. Reports are that this guy, Rodgers, placed bets involving his own team. Pete Rose, anyone? Does anyone else see the problem with this? You can't gamble on shit you have a direct impact on, all right? And you also can't gamble on games in your own league because that is the same as insider trading at the stock market, all right? You have knowledge of things going on that the general public does not, right? Even Vegas, as great as they are at handicapping, the players are going to have more access to information. You can't do it. Another rule, you cannot place bets while you are at a team facility, at a team function, or participating in any team or league activities. That's it. Basically, and I'm sure there's some other jargon in there, and we went over it a month or two ago. But those are the basics. So, dude, go to work, right? Do your workout, participate, do what you have to do. Go home, and then place your bets, right? These shouldn't be difficult rules to follow, should they? Should they really be that difficult? Especially considering you have to know by now you're going to get caught. You have to. The gambling apps know your location. So does the team and the league. There's no way to beat that part of it, okay? Your phone, the GPS, those gambling apps make you turn it on because they have to see what state you're in, where you are, and if it's even legal to gamble in the area that you are currently in. Before it was legal here in Ohio, Indiana is a 15 to 20-minute drive from here. People were driving over to Lawrenceburg or whatever, as soon as you cross over the line, pulling off the highways, parking in gas station parking lots or whatever, and sitting there on their phones like crackheads, gambling up a storm. Now it's legal here in Ohio. There's no way to beat that part of it. Look, folks, if you need to place bets that badly, okay, have someone else handle it for you. Or wait until you're home for the day or night or whatever and place your bets then. I can totally appreciate that. It comes out, oh, shit, man, I really want to get in at 2.5. I'm worried it may jump to 3 or it may come down to 2 or whatever the case may be. Look, have your conversations with some folks if you have to do that. Talk to them before and, hey, if this line moves to such and such, drop a Benjamin on it for me. Drop $1,000 on it for me. Whatever you got to do. Or in my case, drop $1 on it. Drop $5 on it, right? I mean, there's just no reason to be out there putting themselves at risk. And I don't want to hear, look, instead this guy, he breaks the rules and he's likely going to face that Calvin Ridley type suspension, okay? I don't want, it's easy to not do these things. And Dave I'm sorry, but you're not going to like what I have to say here. I really don't want to hear about how the NFL uses DraftKings, has teams in Vegas, all that stuff. The rules for the players, coaches, executives, referees, whatever, are very simple as previously outlined. Okay? It's not challenging to place your bets when it's okay to place your bets. Okay? You chose to be a professional athlete. You chose to play football. You can't gamble on the NFL when you're a professional football player. That's it. I don't want professional football players, placing bets on NFL games. And I sure as shit don't want them placing bets on games that they have a direct impact on. Right? Talk about lack of integrity. Look, I get where you're coming from. Let me read Dave's comment here. Listen, once they put teams in Vegas and partnered with DraftKings, the leagues are completely hypocrites. While I somewhat agree with you, I have zero respect for leagues here. And that's fine. But let's not act like these are difficult rules to follow. Okay? I'm not going to fault anyone for their opinion here. But let's not act like these are difficult rules to follow because they're just not. Okay? They're just not. Any one of us, if we were sitting at our desk at work or or whatever, wherever your workstation is, if your boss looks over your shoulder and sees you gambling while you're supposed to be working, it's a fucking problem, okay? The difference is it might just be a slap on the wrist for us. These guys directly impact the game, right? Or they know someone who's going to directly impact it. You can't have that going on. And there's simple rules, right? Go home, place your bets, you're done. That's it. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, you can't place bets on the league that you play in. You can't place bets on or against the team that you play for. And you can't place bets when you're part of any team or league, travel, activity, facility, whatever. Outside of that, free range. Go home, throw all your money on every NBA game that's out there. Throw all your money on baseball, hockey, college football when that starts up, whatever. Just can't bet on the NFL. Not that hard, folks. It's really not. Keenan, I will only bet on things I have direct impact on the outcome. All right, well, we probably check that box. David got it. Still hypocrites. All right. I don't fully see it that way because they're not telling these guys they can't gamble. They're telling them they can't gamble on the league that they play in. But everybody's entitled to their opinion. Keenan, my niece worked at a Pennsylvania casino in the cage. She was not allowed to gamble in PA at all. There you go. See? Same set of rules. Right? She's not a professional athlete. She worked at a casino. She was not allowed to gamble in the entire state of Pennsylvania. NFL's not even stopping that. Right? Jalen Hurts can go place a bet on anywhere he wants in Pennsylvania, as long as it's not on any kind of NFL activity. That's it. And as long as it's not while he's taking part in any kind of league or team activity or facility. That's it. Those are the only rules. It shouldn't be this difficult. But unfortunately, some of these guys are knuckleheads. And here we are. All right, we're going to move on one, maybe two more times here. Just want to touch on our birds real quick, okay? You guys seen the reports. Looks like everybody's doing well, with the off-season workouts here. Again, it's not like they're out there knocking skulls or whatever, but it's nice to see them in action. It's nice to hear good reports coming out of camps, okay? Everything seems to be going well. Jordan Davis appears to have shed a bunch of weight, which I don't know about the rest of you, but when you looked at him at the end of last year, it looked like he'd definitely use to drop a few pounds, right? You had the rumors of laziness, showing up late, all that kind of stuff. Looks like that's behind him. And, I think Quimby touched on this. I forget if it was this past weekend or the week before. The addition of Jalen Carter, the addition of Nolan Smith, of more of his brothers from that Georgia team seems to have lit a fire under Jordan Davis's ass. So we hope that continues. Jalen Carter breaks a tackling sled. Do you guys see? I wish I could find. I didn't really look real hard, so if anybody's got video of it, send it to me. He breaks a tackling sled, and I'm not going to sit here and act like it's never happened before, right? I'm sure it has. There's a lot of big, but it's not a common thing. It's not like this is something you hear about all the time. I don't even remember the last time I heard it. These things are quality tested by the NFL. They're built to handle a ridiculous beating from abnormally huge and strong humans. And this dude smashed one. He broke it. To give you an idea of just the sheer strength of this man. And he is going to go hit quarterbacks and running backs and whoever with that kind of anger and strength and whatever you want to call it. And I am here for all of it. I cannot wait to see that. I am looking forward to the possibility. Think about this. So Nolan Smith is probably going to learn from Hassan Reddick, right? Edge rushing. Think about the possibility of some point through the rotation there where you could have Nolan Smith at 4.4 speed, Hassan Reddick, who I think is roughly the same speed, coming around the edge. Okay? Now, they're not big guys, but they speed. So that's going to come around here. That's going to force whoever to step up into possibly the waiting arms of a hungry and motivated Jordan Davis and a freakishly big and strong Jalen Carter. I mean, that is nightmare fuel for any offensive line or quarterback. Looking at you, Brock Purdy. I am so looking forward to that game when the Niners come to Philly. You are not getting your revenge. But also, like I said, I don't think we're getting our revenge in Kansas City. So take that for what it is. Like I said, I just wanted to throw those couple blurbs out there about our Birds. I was going to do some baseball tonight, but I think we're just going to put it on ice for another week. I'm just about at an hour here. And I said I was going to put the StreamYard link up, and I didn't. So if anybody's a hypocrite, Dave, it's me. Yeah, so everything sounds good coming out of Philly, coming out of Eagles camp right now. Look, your Phillies, we'll talk baseball for just a minute or two here. The Phils, I mean, it's been a rough start. There's no question about it. And you're not going to have that, let's fire Girardi spark that happened last year, right? You're not firing Rob. It's not going to happen, especially not after what happened last season, the team rallying around him. So, Phillies, a game back of the Mets, currently sitting in fourth place in the American League East, 29-32. It's been a tough go, guys. I mean, I don't really. You look at run differential; it's the most, just like point differential in the NFL. I mean, what's the most important? We talk about stats all the time. Quarterback rating, ERA, batting average, whatever the case may be, on base percentage, all of that stuff. What's the most important number? The freaking score, right? So in baseball, run differential, football, point differential. Okay? Phil's right now a negative 30 point differential. That's not good. Okay? You scored 261 points and given and allowed 291. But look, you want to take some positive for the Phils. You won 4 in a row. Very streaky, especially over the past month. A lot of 5 wins, 6 losses, 4 wins, 3 losses. Not a whole lot of consistency there, which I think is what's annoying a lot of folks. And obviously, you guys, the entire city there, you have 300 million reasons to be pissed off at Trey Turner right now. And I am as guilty as any of you for being excited about it. I thought he was going to come into Philly and set the world on fire, especially after a huge showing in the World Baseball Classic. And to this point, it has been a dumpster fire. He's batting .240. His on-base percentage is only .283. He's slugging just .394 for an OPS of .676, right? 7 homers, 19 RBIs, only 8 stolen bases, though he hasn't been caught yet. I mean, 14 doubles, 2 triples, blah, 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 blah. This is a guy last season batted .298 with 21 homers, 100 RBIs, 27 stolen bases. It's not been what you'd hope for. And I don't blame you guys for being pissed. And he would probably be at the top of my shit list right now. You do have to like what you're seeing out of Nick Castellanos, though. You want to talk about a bounce back year? And, I know Chris, I know Sack and Murph talked about it on Baseball Brunch before the season started. Chris and I talked about it in text messages. I talked about it on here. It's not that Castellanos had to carry the Phillies, but especially when Rhys Hoskins went down, Nick needed to return to a much stronger form, and he has delivered to this point, guys. He's batting .315, 7 homers, 35 RBIs, right? He's not a big power hitter. He's a big guy, but he's more a line drive kind of gap hitter. Put up a lot of doubles, things of that nature. He's got 20 doubles already. Just the 7 homers, which is a little – I figured he'd have he thought maybe he'd be at like the 10 to 12 range. But, 35 ribbies. Yeah, and there's not a whole lot of ribbies to get when the rest of these jagoffs can't get on base. Okay? So I'll save the pitching staff for Sack and Murph on Sunday. But suffice it to say, when you've given up more than you've scored, you have multiple deficiencies, and one of those has been the staff. Nola and Wheels have not been consistent. So I'm not going to go into depth there. Flip the page over to my Yankees real quick. Currently sitting in third place. I'm not shocked by this at all. Now, I thought the Blue Jays were going to be one of the teams in front of them. When I looked at it to start the year, I figured Boston would be in the cellar, which they are. Now, they're 31-30. They're not like the worst team in baseball, but they are the worst team in that division. I thought the Blue Jays, if they could pitch, would be at the top of the division because they score. Now, unfortunately, they haven't pitched. Again, not horrible. They're 34-28, 6 games over 500. But the AL East is easily the deepest division in baseball. So the top of the division, the top 2 teams in the division are the 2 teams that you really didn't know what to expect. You know, was Baltimore going to take that next step? Very talented, no doubt about it. But it kind of felt like they played a little over their skis last year. So were they going to be able to continue that? And then Tampa, you know, they come out of the gates, my God, like they're just trying to run away and hide right from opening day. And Tampa's always that team, that franchise, and Dave knows my opinion is they get more out of every single penny than any other team in sports. I think I've said that 1,000 times on here. So the fact that they're at the top of the division, I mean, it's not shocking, but the Rays and the O's were the 2 teams that you really weren't quite sure what you were going to get out of them. Well, now we know, right? The Rays are 44-19. They have a plus 132 run differential. That is topped only by the Texas Rangers at plus 155, and the Rangers just lost Jacob deGrom for the rest of the year. That might be it for deGrom. He's 35 or 36 or whatever. This is his second Tommy John surgery. He might be done. And I don't know if you read about it, but he should have been another boner of the week candidate. Apparently, the Rangers opted not to carry the insurance on his contract. Why the fuck? Why? Look, I'm not going to even try to guess why. The whole thing's just stupidity. This is a guy who's never been able to stay on the field. There's some morons in one of the baseball pages I'm on. One guy posted, Jacob deGrom is a Hall of Famer if he never throws another game. Are you out of your mind? He's got 85 career wins. I don't give a damn how great you are when you're on the field. If you're never on the field or not on the field enough to show it, I don't care. Don Mattingly was awesome for 5 years. Then his back gave out. It was less awesome for the rest of his career. Not a Hall of Fame. Okay, numbers aren't there. Had Hall of Fame potential. Career was on the Hall of Fame trajectory. And the back problems. That was it. deGrom. Hall of Fame trajectory. Can't stay healthy. Right? Not on the field. He's not out there starting his games. Sorry. You're not a Hall of Famer. That's just it. Your best, and Dave and I like to say this all the time. Your most valuable attribute is what? Your availability. So the Yankees, right? 10 games over 500. I'm not surprised. I'm not. The pitching's inconsistent. There's no depth in the rotation. The bullpen has been wishy-washy. Unfortunately, Aaron Judge now is headed back to the injured list after he smashed his toe into the concrete when he went and broke the damn gate in L.A. And when you take Judge out of that lineup, I mean, you can just see the difference. Anthony Volpe, he's still on the interstate. He's below the Mendoza line for his batting average. He does have some home runs, but like, kid, you're not out there to hit home runs, right? We need you getting on base, hit, line drives. Rizzo's been off to a nice start, but now without Judge in the lineup, who's going to protect him? Donaldson? Please. Nobelson? He's the next guy on my shit. The greatest thing that's happened to the Yankees so far at this point in the year is Aaron Hicks is gone. And I don't give a shit how great his start has been, how great he's looked in an Orioles uniform. That will not continue. It just won't. So 36 and 26, third place, 7.5 back of the Rays, 2.5 behind the Orioles, plus 41 run differential. This is pretty much what we are. And by the time we come to Philadelphia and we're sitting there baseball brunch, I'm probably going to be chomping at the bit, pissed off, because we're likely still going to be mired in third place, and they're going to do nothing about the pitching staff as usual in the Cashman regime. Brian Cashman, I'm talking to you. As far as I'm concerned, I'm done with him, right? I'm just done. Like, I've had it. It's gone on long enough. And now you get all these umpires around the league who are calling Aaron Boone Karen Boone. And I don't really think they're wrong, okay? He complains. Every manager hollers and screams and complains. This guy's over the top. Anyways. All right, guys. That's about all I got for you tonight. Lou Mancini. Nice jersey, bro. You rocking those pinstripes. Thanks, brother. So this was a gift. Came in the mail just a few days ago. I didn't call that person out, and I won't unless they're okay with it. So you just let me know if you're okay with it, and I will go ahead and call it out. I didn't want to put anybody on the spot, make anybody feel uncomfortable, but I very, 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 very much appreciate this. This is a pinstripe Derek Jeter jersey. The number 2 on the back, absolutely fantastic. Hangs right next to my pinstripe mantle jersey. And I wanted to throw it on tonight because I knew we were going to talk at least a little baseball before we get out of here. But speaking of getting out of here, Lou Mancini, and he's okay. So, guys, so you know, this is the gentleman who sent me the jersey, Mr. Lou Mancini himself. Very, very much appreciative of the generosity, brother. This thing is awesome. It's like I told you, though, this might be the only setting you see me wearing the pinstripes. I am a slob. And if I wear the white out anywhere, chances are I'm going to need to run straight to a dry cleaner. Because I'm a slob. I got a belly. It's not a good scene. So thank you again, brother. I was really touched and very, very much. You left me. I'm usually not at a loss for words, dude. Anybody who knows me knows that. But you left me at a loss for words that day. So again, thank you. Thank you very much. And on that note, for Mr. Lou Mancini, David Conant, Keenan Harmon, Russ Taylor, David Califoot, Captain Debs. Who else am I missing here? Anybody? Bueller, blame Canada. Yeah, I hope that clears up out there. For everybody in the room and anybody listening, at a later date and time, this has been the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family. Y'all have a safe week. When we talk next week, we will begin the countdown as we will just be a month away from invading Philadelphia. Until then, take care. Enjoy the week. I hope the smoke clears. And as always, even though I'm wearing these pinstripes, go Birds. All right, y'all. I'm starving. I'm getting out of here. Thank you again. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Love you.